The Shining by Stephen King is a classic horror novel that delves into the psychological unraveling of a family as they confront supernatural forces within the isolated Overlook Hotel. The story centers around Jack Torrance, his wife Wendy, and their young son Danny. Jack Torrance, a struggling writer and recovering alcoholic, accepts a job as the winter caretaker of the Overlook Hotel, a grand and isolated resort nestled in the Colorado Rockies. The hotel, with a dark and haunted history, closes for the winter due to heavy snowfall. The Torrance family, seeking a fresh start, moves into the hotel, unaware of the malevolent forces that lie within its walls. Danny Torrance possesses psychic abilities, referred to as the Shining, which allows him to perceive the hotel's horrifying past and the malevolent spirits that still linger. The Overlook's cook, Dick Halloran, also shares this psychic gift and senses the immense power within Danny. As winter descends, the hotel becomes cut off from the outside world, and the Torrance family faces increasing isolation. Jack, who hopes to use the solitude to work on his writing, begins to experience strange and unsettling occurrences. The hotel's ghosts, influenced by its dark history, manifest themselves to Jack and Danny. The malevolent forces exploit Jack's vulnerabilities, feeding on his anger, frustration, and the strain in his relationship with his family. The story explores Jack's descent into madness, influenced by the supernatural entities within the hotel as well as his own internal demons. The hotel's ghosts manipulate Jack's vulnerabilities, preying on his weaknesses and pushing him toward violent tendencies. Jack's mental state deteriorates as he becomes obsessed with the hotel's haunted history and begins to lose touch with reality. Danny, who has psychic visions, becomes increasingly aware of the dangers within the hotel. He communicates telepathically with Halloran, who is in Florida but senses the urgency of Danny's distress. Halloran decides to return to the Overlook to help the Torrance family. As the winter storms intensify, the supernatural forces within the hotel gain strength. The Overlook's influence over Jack becomes more pronounced, and he becomes a pawn in the malevolent forces' bid for power. The hotel's ghosts, including the mysterious and sinister woman in room 237, manipulate Jack into a state of homicidal madness. Wendy, Jack's wife, becomes increasingly alarmed by Jack's erratic behavior and the strange occurrences in the hotel. She tries to protect herself and Danny from Jack's growing aggression while grappling with the isolation and fear that permeate the Overlook. The tension reaches a climax when Jack, fully under the influence of the hotel's dark forces, turns violent. He succumbs to the malevolent spirit's influence and becomes a danger to his own family. Wendy, terrified for her life and Danny's, must confront the supernatural horrors within the hotel and find a way to escape. The final confrontation unfolds in a harrowing sequence as Wendy and Danny desperately try to evade Jack's murderous intent. Halloran, arriving at the hotel, also becomes a target of the hotel's malevolence. The Overlook itself seems to come alive, with its maze and eerie corridors serving as a nightmarish backdrop for the family's struggle for survival. In a climactic showdown, Danny uses his psychic abilities to outsmart his possessed father and escape the hotel. Jack, consumed by the malevolent forces, meets a tragic end in the freezing snow-covered hedge maze. The novel's conclusion is both haunting and ambiguous. Halloran rescues Wendy and Danny, but the Overlook remains a malevolent presence. The final scenes leave readers with lingering questions about the nature of the hotel and the lasting impact of the horrors the Torrance family has endured. The Shining is a masterful exploration of psychological horror, supernatural suspense, and the disintegration of sanity in isolation. Stephen King weaves a tale that goes beyond traditional haunted house narratives, delving into the complexities of human psychology and the thin line between the real and the supernatural. The novel continues to be a landmark work in the horror genre, leaving an indelible mark on readers with its chilling portrayal of the Overlook Hotel's malevolent influence on the Torrance family.